lovely people, my name is Nicole and I am all decked out in my Pride gear because it is Seattle Pride today. I actually did not end up going to the parade. My friend that I was going with wasn't feeling well, so we just hung out and celebrated Pride all on our own. But I thought that while I was all dressed up and fancy makeup and bisexual nails, etc., I would film a video sharing with you guys in celebration of Pride my favorite books featuring bisexual characters. Side note, if you see my awesome Queer Enough shirt, these were created by Brie at Brie May on Twitter. She used to do booktube. She's really cool. And she made a bunch of these for pretty much every gender identity or sexual orientation. So if you check out at Queer Enough on Twitter, that is where you can find the store where you can get these. They are super awesome, and they also have versions that work for people who are closeted. So highly recommend go check them out, go support them. But now let's just get right into the video. I do want to give a quick disclaimer. I've made one or two other queer book recommendation videos, so anything that was in one of those, I'm not going to talk about it today. But the first book I want to recommend, I actually am currently reading this, and that's Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy. I'm only like 60 pages in, but I already know that this is going to be great. Its own voices and the writing of the character is already, just in this first section, so good. Her discussions of her sexuality are great, and it explores sort of a side of queerness that I feel like isn't often talked about, or when it is talked about, a lot of times it's shamed, because the main character begins the book thinking she's, you know, she's a lesbian, she's gay, and then she reunites with her childhood best friend and realizes that she's actually bisexual. And you know, we have plenty of stories about people who think that they're straight realizing that they're bi, but it's nice to see sort of the other side. So like I said, I'm currently reading this, but so far I am loving it. Quick apology, there's people doing yard work outside, so if it gets kind of loud, sorry about that. The next book I have is Star-Crossed by Barbara D, and this is actually a sort of a young, on the young side of middle grade, and it's about a girl who, her school is putting on a production of Romeo and Juliet, and in the course of doing this play, she realizes that she has feelings for one of her co-stars, who is a girl. So it's young kids, they're in middle school, just figuring out who they are and who they love. And it's great. It's super cute. I think it's very accessible for young kids, and it's also very enjoyable as an adult reading it. And the main character is, I believe, bi. She talked about having a crush on one of her male classmates before she fell for her main love interest in the story. Next, I want to recommend Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I don't have my copy right now. I'm lending it to a friend. Go pick it up because it's amazing and hilarious. It's basically, the best way that I've heard it described is a bunch of queers road tripping around Europe, and they get into all sorts of shenanigans, and there's like a political conspiracy and this like really cool alchemy element, and the main character is bisexual. They don't actually use the word bisexual because 18th century linguistics, the word bisexual just wasn't a thing. But they frequently discuss how the main character is interested in both men and women. He's a bit of a flirt, so we do see him interact in a sort of sexual romantic context with men and women. And while he's on this road trip across Europe, he's joined by his best friend, who, being half black, is dealing with some of the race relations at the time, and his sister, who is a super awesome 18th century feminist. Then I have Dress Codes for Small Towns, and this is about a group of friends in this very small town, and the main character is in a bit of a love triangle with two of her best friends, with her female best friend and her male best friend, and it's like actually like a triangle. Like her two best friends are kind of into each other as well, and then there's this other guy who comes into their group who she kind of has a thing with. It's just a whole bunch of this girl in this very sort of conservative small town trying to figure out who she is, who she and her friends want to be, and who she loves. Then I have Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst, and this is great because it's a fantasy with a lot of queer elements. The main character in this is bisexual, and basically she's this princess who's sent to another kingdom to marry the prince of that kingdom as a political alliance, but she ends up falling for his sister, and it's really great, sort of a forbidden love kind of thing, and the main couple is super cute, and it's really fun to see their chemistry grow. Then I have How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake, and this is a fantastic contemporary, lots of explorations of familial drama and the main character's relationship with her mother is a really big plot point. But in this book, the main character is discovering her bisexuality, and she is falling for this new girl in town while also having to deal with the fact that while she was out of town for a few weeks, her mom moved the two of them into her new boyfriend's house, who is the father of the main character's ex-boyfriend. So there's a lot of really interesting romantic relationship drama and then some really good familial relationship drama. All around, it's just a fantastic book. Then I have The Love Interest by Cale Dietrich. And this is another fun one because it's not a contemporary. Unfortunately, I found that the vast majority of books that explore themes of gender and sexuality are contemporary novels, but this one is a lot of fun. It's a sort of speculative fiction sci-fi where there's this secret organization that trains teenagers to basically be love interests. If there's someone who they decide will be important, they send out two love interests, a nice and a bad. And those two love interests create a love triangle with this person, and then whoever wins the love triangle can proceed to spy on them for the rest of their life and give information to this organization, and whoever loses dies. But in this particular case, the two love interests end up falling for each other, and one of those love interests is bisexual. Then I have Not Otherwise Specified by Hannah Moskowitz, and I do want to give a quick trigger warning for this book. The main character struggles a lot with an eating disorder in this, and there's a lot of discussion of that. So just know that it gets kind of intense in that aspect at some points. One of the reasons I really enjoyed this book is because it's not a coming out story. The main character is already out. She is comfortable with who she is. It's not a discovering her sexuality story, which, don't get me wrong, I love those. They definitely have their place, but it's nice to get something a little bit different. Basically, our main character, Etta, is struggling with overcoming an eating disorder, and she's in her last little bit of high school, and she's dealing with some drama with her best friends who are sort of the school's pack of lesbians, but they're angry with her because she started dating a guy because she's bi. She's also trying to get into this really prestigious performing arts college, and through her application process to this college and her support group for her eating disorder, she meets a younger girl who she kind of becomes friends with and takes under her wing. Then I have History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera, and the main character in this isn't bi, he's gay, but his love interest is bi. And basically this book is about a guy whose first love just died, and he's dealing with mourning this guy who was his best friend and then his first love, and then they haven't really had a ton of contact in the past couple months because he moved across country for college and got a new boyfriend. And so now the main character is dealing with mourning his first love and is kind of doing it alongside his first love's new boyfriend. And the first love is the bisexual character, and don't worry, he's not like a just briefly mentioned kind of character. He's a very prominent character in this book. A lot of it is told in flashbacks telling the story of their relationship. Then I have Queens of Geek by Jen Wild, and this is about two girls who go to their first convention. It's sort of a Comic-Con type thing. One of them as a fan, excited to meet her favorite author, and one of them is there as an actress promoting her new movie, and that character is bisexual. She, throughout the book, is dealing with the fact that her co-star is her ex-boyfriend, and there's a whole lot of drama there, while she's also falling for this new girl who's a YouTuber she meets, who she's left her channel for a really long time, and she's always had a bit of a crush on her, and now they're actually starting to maybe see if there's a relationship there. So those are some of my favorite books featuring prominent bisexual characters. Obviously there are a lot more. Some I didn't mention because the bisexual characters aren't very prominent. Some I didn't mention because I mentioned them in previous queer rec books like Carry On and Magnus Bane. Some of those just quick honorable mentions that I mentioned before. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan, and of course the character of Magnus Bane in Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunters Chronicles. Any other great bisexual representation I should check out, please let me know in the comments. If you guys have read any of these and have thoughts on their representation, let me know. I love you, and I will see you later. Bye!